So Bill, here we are, 2018 New North Summit. Today's theme should resonate with all of you who've heard about our summits or have attended it in the past. Networking always seems to be the #1 rated benefit of attending the New North Summit. So it's kind of a natural theme for today's summit. It also references to the network of the New North region. The connections, as Governor-elect Evers spoke about, that are always working behind the scenes to keep our economy moving. When you split the term network, several sub-themes surface, like the theme of innovation tied to the net, for the change in the nature of our work, and for the importance of meeting the challenges of developing and recruiting talent to this wonderful region. It's a great theme for today's summit. But also, networking and collaboration are the foundational values of the New North.
Yeah, they certainly are, Vicki. And you know, I was just thinking to myself before we came up on stage, you know, we've been up here for less than an hour, and just think about how much we've packed in already so far. So it's really been an awesome start to a great summit. Appreciate everyone's contribution so far, but I think we should take a minute to step back, just give you a little bit of a refresh of what's coming up in terms of the agenda so that we can plan, because I'm still waiting to get at that cake and I want to know what's between us and lunch. So next we've got, we're going to hear from the WEDC on some very creative talent recruitment initiatives that they've been working on, and we're also going to be hearing from our new Business Intelligence Committee regarding their initial work product that they've been partnering with St. Norbert College on.
Two very important initiatives of the New North. After that, we're going to have our now infamous Ed Talks return with two more prominent thought leaders of our region, Mary Goggins and Michelle Schuler. Also, our annual Workplace Excellence Award winner will be announced. And of course, we're going to take some time for those networking breaks as well.
Okay, so that's what gets us between here and the cake. It's worth the wait. Some good speakers. We're really looking forward to it. Following lunch, though, I want to make sure everyone sticks around because lunch is going to be great, and that's when we get the cake. Remember the cake. We're going to have some great breakout sessions, okay? We have 3 you can choose from. So the New Manufacturing Alliance will be revealing their annual Vitality Index, which is a report on economic perceptions and near-term forecasts for talent demand. I think that's a very relevant topic. Everyone's probably going to be very interested in that. But we have 2 other great ones to choose from as well. Advancing AI Wisconsin, Pioneers of Digital Disruption in Wisconsin, is a follow-on presentation from last year's exciting introduction of artificial intelligence and what it means for you. Again, a very topical content there. And then we also have the Northeast Wisconsin Consortium of Adult Education hosting a panel of 4 highly regarded business leaders that'll provide insights that you can bring back to your work tomorrow. So 3 real great breakout sessions.
And don't forget, after those breakout sessions, we have a wonderful cocktail reception planned. So now let's take a look at the materials at your table. A special thanks to 4 Imprint and St. Norbert College for the branded material notebook and folder at your table. Along with that, you have the 2018 New North Annual Report. Also a summary of the 2018 Northeast Wisconsin Business Intelligence Committee study. This is one of the most important strategic initiatives that the New North started in 2018, and we're excited to share that with you. And finally, this year's Manufacturing Alliance All-Star Team, a collection of recognized role models for students to identify with. We have a number of elected officials attending us today, so I would like to call out those, and please stand when I call your name, and if you wouldn't mind just holding your applause until the end. But from the office of the U.S. Senator Ron Johnson, we have Paul Chamberlain. From the office of U.S. Representative Mike Gallagher, we have Pauline Meyer. Wisconsin State Senator Caleb Frostman. Green Bay Mayor Jim Schmidt. City of De Peers Administrator Larry Delo. The Village of Pulaski's President Reed Woodman. And the Village of Waupaca's Administrator Harry Velker. Please recognize, thank you.
All right, while you're clapping, you've got get the blood going a little bit here as we move into the second phase. We want to take a moment to thank the sponsors of this year's events. So our major sponsors, we have Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, Insight, Coalesce, Stellar Blue, Nation Consulting.
We also have Associated Bank, Bolt, Amazing Events, BMO Harris Bank, ISG, Northeast Wisconsin Technical College, and Oshkosh Corp.
This event is not possible without the generous support of our sponsors, so let's give them another round of applause. Thank you all. Okay, that's as much of a break as we get here. Now we're going to move on to the rest of the program. So the theme is network, as Vicki said, and particularly with reference to talent and workers, I think it's very relevant. So we've asked Mark Hogan, CEO for the WEDC, to relay some important information regarding some really impactful work they're doing that's aimed at bringing additional workers to the state, something I think we all care deeply about. This is a program you should all be interested in and very connected to. So with that, please help me welcome Mark Hogan to the stage.
Mark Murphy, I don't think my elephant in the room is as big as yours, but there's one nonetheless. Let me just comment on that because, first of all, I have great respect for Tony Evers. The election is over, the rhetoric is done, the electorate has selected him as to be the next governor of the state of Wisconsin, and I respect that. And I think what I've said publicly and what I've said privately, and I've had great conversations with members of the transition team. I've talked to the governor-elect on a couple of brief occasions, but my goal is pretty simple. It's that I do believe in the model that WEDC delivers. I think you can look in the New North and see the things that we've been able to accomplish here collaboratively from a local and regional standpoint. And I look forward to being able to convey that message in a positive way. So it's pretty simple. My favorite line in life is, why does any of this need to be so difficult? And I really want to make this work for the governor-elect so that he can be successful, because that's what we care about in the state of Wisconsin. So with that, I'd like to, Phil Flynn talked a little bit about the challenge that we have from a workforce standpoint. And I'd like to talk about that, what we're doing at WEDC and in the state. Clearly, it is a challenge, one of the great challenges that we have in the state right now. And I'd like to take the next few minutes just to provide some updates on things that maybe we've already talked about. So 3 years ago, we started working on creating a message, and we really worked with our statewide partners to do this. And it was around the concept of Think, Make, Happen. So Think, Make, Happen became a brand platform that a lot of our academic partners, some of our industry partners, some of the regions have taken up as part of their efforts to market their various areas. There were 3 planks that were identified under Think, Make, Happen. The first one was identifying Midwest millennials. The second was the reaching out to the alumni of our UW system, of our private colleges and universities, as well as the tech colleges. And the third is the transitioning of veterans into work life. And we began to implement that last year, earlier this year, but really last year it got a significant impetus from the standpoint that Governor Walker, along with the legislature, provided WEDC, along with Department of Workforce Development and the Department of Veterans Affairs, Department of Tourism, $6.8 million to take our message across all 3 of these planks. And what I'd like to do right now is just talk briefly about each of these planks and kind of where we are with them. So in January, we started with Midwest millennials. You probably have seen this. We started by focusing in the Chicago area, and it really was around the quality of life that we have to provide here in the state, the career opportunities, the affordable and available health care, all of these things, but more importantly, just the career opportunities that take place in the state of Wisconsin right now. We received significant feedback on this from an impression standpoint, and when you look at this, over 450 million paid media impressions, and that just means the number of people that could have seen our message out there. And this message was really strong in the first 6 months of the year. Social media impressions, over 28 million, and we were picked up by a lot of the national publications like Wall Street Journal, CNBC, as well as NPR. What I found find unique about this was when the Chicago Tribune would write articles about the fact that we were putting these into in the Chicago area. What was great is their online articles would include a link to our website. So we received a lot of feedback from them. So for fiscal 19, what we're doing, we're taking this into new markets, 13 new markets. And again, we're looking at markets that have similar, they're Midwest markets, similar to the Milwaukee area, Madison, the Fox Valley, so that we're attracting people that understand the quality of life that exists in areas like these. And this campaign is really around a message of more. It utilizes a consistent, a bold, one-word headline, more. It's more about you, more about what you want. And here are a couple of examples of the media that we're pushing out.
With a booming economy and over 15,000 lakes, we're just as much a great place to work as we are to play. Wisconsin, it's more you.
And a second one. So I guess the second one did pop up. So on the media channels, we're going through all social media. You can see what we're doing there. But again, we're excited about this. If you want more interest, if you're interested in, want to see more about this, you can see it on our website, inwisconsin.com. And the second plank is around Wisconsin alumni. And again, this is not just about the UW system, but it's also about the private colleges in the state, as well as the technical colleges. These are people that have already been to Wisconsin. Many of them lived here, grew up here, went to school here. We do benefit from the fact that a very high percentage of our students stay in the state. But this is an outreach effort to work with the alumni associations to find those alumni that may want to return to the state. And it's something that, again, we're excited about the opportunities. We're pushing it out. We're putting together alumni snapshots. And here is one from that you might recognize from a local young lady.
I went to school at University of Wisconsin, Green Bay, and moved to Washington, D.C. for almost 3 years. I came back home to Green Bay so that I can make a greater impact and provide a service that is not otherwise available for patients in this region. My husband and I decided it would be a great place to raise a family because it's a close-knit community. It's not too big, it's not too small. And of course, I have to come back home to root for my favorite team.
And we're creating these snapshots across a lot of different people throughout the state. There are marketing efforts that we would like to work with you on. If you're interested in pursuing this, please see one of us. There's several of us from WEDC that are here today. Just ask us about how that might work, and we'll be happy to work with you on it. And the final plank of that is around transition veterans, and really the transition veterans and their families. And I'm really proud of the work that we're doing. This is a collaborative effort across state agencies that really is, I think, is going to be a key point. And the way I look at it is we're serving people that have served us. And it's really important that we be able to focus on the needs of the veterans as they transition into civilian life. We have the opportunities, we have the state, we have the quality here, we have the career opportunities that we think make sense for them. And we're working with Hiring Our Heroes, which is a part of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Foundation. And we're leveraging the work that they're doing at the various transition events at military bases throughout the United States and throughout the world. And we've established an event schedule that over the course, we've now been doing this since August. We've done 6 of these events. We will be putting these out. We're also going to Japan and Germany. And what we're doing is Hiring Our Heroes has identified certain military bases where the characteristics of those transitioning veterans are people that generally are not going to stay in that area. So we're not going to be in San Diego, but we're going to be in military bases where the high percentage of people decide to move on. Just a couple of snapshots. Again, this is around our personal contact that we're having. We're creating a team in Wisconsin, Department of Workforce Development, Department of Veterans Affairs, Department of Tourism, WEDC. And we go on site and we're part of Hiring Our Heroes And this is the Mission Wisconsin team. The gentleman in the the second from the right, Josh Barr, is with us today. Josh, would you stand up? Josh is a U.S. military veteran. Josh works for the Department of Workforce Development, and Rebecca DeShane is our Talent Initiatives Director at WEDC. And we share, Ray Cross and I share Rebecca for this common purpose of trying to find and identify service members who want to come to this state and want to live here. And the results are pretty good. We've had over 3,200 people that have attended these events, over 800 interactions, and we have over 400 active recruitment cases that we're taking on that are being worked through the Department of Veterans Affairs or through the Department of Workforce Development. Hiring our heroes would say that what we're doing from a national standpoint is unique. No other state does this as a state. A lot of, when Hiring Our Heroes goes out, and I'm sure there are many companies here that go out into to these job fairs, but we're doing it as a state, and we think that coordination is working well. You can go into our website, you can find information there, and as these veterans are being, we give them a concierge service, and as they're going through, we provide them information about various regions, various companies in the state, people who are partnering with us. Here's an example of an ad that we're pushing out.
Your heart went into serving our country, ours will go into teaching your kids. Wisconsin has some of the best public schools in the U.S., so you can be as proud of them as we are of you. Wisconsin, it's more you.
So again, just from a paid media standpoint, significant impact already, over 6 million impressions. We've had over 25,000 hits on our webpage at inwisconsin.com/veterans. So it really is something that's important to what we think can solve two challenges. One is making sure that our veterans are treated appropriately and their families, as well at the same time making sure that we're finding the workforce of the future. And so there are various engagement opportunities. Again, I would just ask you to see Rebecca or Josh afterwards, or anybody from WEDC will be able to talk about these things and the different opportunities that might exist should you want to be able to do this. And I'm just going to flash through these, hopefully. And the Wisconsin Ambassador is key because you would become part of the Mission Wisconsin delegation, and that would be something that we would very much welcome. So again, thank you for the opportunity to be here. I greatly appreciate the support of the New North and look forward to seeing you in a little while. Thank you.
Great job, great job. Thank you, Mark, very much. Just a quick comment. Economic development is classically, or the legacy sort of speed is pretty slow. So you observe an opportunity or a challenge, and you make your way to policy or programs and adjustments. I have to compliment Mark and his leadership with the WEDC. I think everybody in the room clearly recognizes talent is one of the big drivers. And to take a state organization designed around economic development and move it quickly to shift from its primary focus of inducing investment in the state to basically inducing recruitment and talent development. That's really, really a phenomenal shift. Maybe you don't recognize that because you're not in my world, but a big compliment and kudos to Mark and his team for being able to pull that off. On that other dimension, though, so as to not lose sight of that as well, I'd also like to recognize another fantastic year for the WEDC investments in the New North region. This past year, we saw 44 projects, from brownfield grants to target industry projects. The dollar value of those projects exceeded $90 million. Great work, Mark. Fantastic. Additionally, the New North worked with the WEDC and local economic development folks to respond to 13 specific site selection requests. 9 of those are still open. So I'm going to shift gears a little bit to a fairly traditional way to represent the really, really good work that goes on, and frankly, goes on by most of you. Many of you in the audience do the work of developing the economy of the region on a daily basis. Obviously, we can't recognize all of you, so we have to contain this in a sample. So the way that we're doing that today is we're basically going to show you 3 different samples of really good best practices within the headings of talent development, education, and business development. The success of these programs and you and the work that you're doing is success for the entire region. All right, we have 3 video segments on tap for you today. First up is a sample of great success in talent development. So roll 'em, Lester.